Welcome to another episode of DD on the Spot. As always, I'm your host, Ryan Johnson. And before we get into it with our guest here today, well, first of all, everyone should recognize our guest by now. If you are a longtime listener, we have Jodi on the podcast again for the third time. She's on here to, give us an update on what she's been up to. I think we last had her on last August, so it's been almost a year. And as you can see right now, she's getting ready to get ready for a show right now. So, I mean, it's just been just the year that we've had is just, I don't even know how we got through it personally. But Jodi, thanks again for coming on. I really appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure to see you, Ryan.
Well, I got to ask first of all, what is the weather like in Boston today?
So it is very, very hot. We were just talking about that. It's like almost 99 degrees when I was in my car just now. So, but like I said, we're getting thunderstorms in the next couple hours that should cool it off for the next 3 days. But it is definitely hot.
I mean, it's been unreasonably hot. This is like the only time of the year that I really hate because it's the dog days of summer that we're even getting into. It's going to get even worse. But September, October, once that rolls around, everything is fine really up here. But why don't you give us an update on just your bodybuilding journey, what that's been like since we last talked to you last August? Because I think you were getting ready for some shows too, but then obviously that season's over. So what's it been like since last August?
So when I talked to you, I was making the decision. I feel like it was like that week that the New York Pro was going to be held in Tampa, and I had 4 weeks to get ready. I was somewhat ready, but the 4 weeks of work that I did was no joke. It was like I've always wanted to do the New York Pro, and then they added women's physique into it this year because it's been out since I turned pro. They took women's physique out of the New York Pro, so I've never got the opportunity to do it. So I felt like talked to my coach Bill at the time, and I was like, I feel like this show is calling me. So what do I have to do to get there? And it was like, all right, well, you got to do 2 hours of cardio for the next 30 days. And, the diet's tight. And, if you really want to do this show, like you got to come in, Joe. So we did that and we ended up going there. And I ended up placing six, which I was pretty happy with. Six of the New York Pro. Of course, it was a COVID New York Pro. So, in this, it's not everybody that possibly would have done the New York Pro did the New York Pro because of the COVID year, but it was nice to get out on that stage, even though it was in Tampa and not in New York, but, and to, get out there with like the best of them and come up with that sixth place finish. So I was very happy with that. We still weren't lean enough. Rachel Daniels actually won that show. So she came off, winning the regional, turning pro, and then she did that show and came in and slayed that show. So, yeah, after that, I came home and I don't know if I told you that I like live in Jose Raymond's old apartment. I told you that before. So my good friend Matt, like I live in his in-law. Before I moved here, Jose was here, but so I was outside talking to Matt and he's like, Jodi, I think you need to do another one because he's a bodybuilder too. He's, on the national circuit or whatever. And I was like, you think? Like, you think I should? Like, I feel like, I got to the stage. I didn't even think I was going to get to the stage this year and that year. And he's like, yeah, like, look what happened. He gave me a good example of someone that did a show a week before, like in his division. And then the following week went and won. And I'm like, you might be onto something. But because of COVID, I was laid off for 6 months. And before doing the New York Pro, I got hired at a new restaurant. I was with the company for 5 years, good new hospitality group. And then I got let go at the end of August because they just aren't busy enough to bring me back. So, because I was furloughed. So at that point, I was like, I have to start looking for a new place to work. And this new place around my area came up and I went on an interview and then they hired me. And I told them, like, listen, like, I can't start. The week that they wanted to open was the week of the New York Pro. And I'm like, I can't work that week. It's, a big show. I've been training for most of this year. It's going on 9 months, training and diet. So they were totally understanding and they let me do that. And I came back. So I was saying to my, friend Matt, I'm like, I have to work though. Like, it's not like I can just tell these guys, like, hey, I'm jumping into another show. The Chicago Pro, I think, was like 5 weeks later. So I decided to shoot for the Rising, which was December 5th or December, I think it was the 13th. It was like the second week of December. So I wasn't thinking, I just thought like, hey, let me just get back to work, get on a diet again, and everything will be all right. But I think I just was on a diet way too long. It was like drawn out. I ended up like 4 weeks before the show, like having a meltdown because Bill wanted to change something in my diet that I wasn't on board with because I felt that because of my new job that it was going to, you know, affect my personality at my job, which I need because I went back to bartending, so and serving. So it was something that, I need a personality for. No one should have to be around someone who's in a bad mood or, their enthusiasm level is at like an all time zero, So I think I was like really hitting a stressful point at that point. And, Bill said, all right, well, let's just keep doing what we're doing. And unfortunately, I I just checked out. Like I went to the show and I didn't even like bring food with me. I wanted to get food like there when I was there, but we went on Thanksgiving. So that was the thing though too. The Rising was there were rumors going around that Vegas was going to close again for the second time, So and I just after being on a diet for so long and hitting that 4 week out wall, I decided to do a show in Florida a week before because everything's happening in Florida. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to take the chance of waiting another week and it get canceled. And then, so we ended up doing I ended up doing the Atlantic coast, and it was Thanksgiving Day that I left. So I went down there thinking like I could just go food shopping because like I just didn't want to pack food. It was a last minute kind of thing. And I get down there and there's no grocery stores open, like at all. So thankful. I was very thankful. My friend Leona, who just turned pro, she is a teammate of mine with Bill. She brought a ton of extra food and, was able to like help me with that until the next day. And, to be honest, I got on that stage and, it's almost like, I don't know how to say it. I'm filming a documentary as well right now. So I feel like in the documentary, I said there's a whole like delusional process that goes on, like where it's like you're manifesting stuff or like you're trying to fake it to make it almost like a, believe, put it out in the universe. So don't put out those negative thoughts because that's what's going to happen, So I just try to stay on that positivity bus and like, but it ended up me placing like ninth there. And in the Masters, I think I placed fifth. And then Leona, my teammate, she placed fourth and then she placed eighth. So here's a girl who just got on stage for the first time as a pro and she places better than me, So I was like, okay. So it was a lot of like soul searching to do, I think, after that, where I think in my head I was saying, I just didn't want 2020 to get me because I made these plans and I wasn't allowing like COVID to screw things up for me or take me out of my mental state, But I probably shouldn't have sat that one out because I just wasn't myself. So, yeah.
Well, you mentioned a documentary. How'd you get into that?
So I have a girlfriend of mine who has been dating a gentleman who is a TV producer, and he does a lot of YouTube documentaries. He does a barbecue show on YouTube. He's gotten a ton of awards at film festivals for his films and whatnot. And he's, was really interested through my friend Shari, who just turned pro last year at Masters Nationals. 53 she is, and she turned pro. Looks stunning, amazing. And I think he was really into like the whole process and everything behind it and was like, I would love to shoot a documentary. So we got a group of women here in the Northeast that he's interviewed, he's followed, did our workouts, giving us like interviews and stuff. So we're going to try to shop that. It's coming out April of 2022. And he's going to try to get that at a film festival to see if that can get picked up. So, that's was the whole process too. So it was like going to another show just to get more footage and everything. But I think that show, I mean, it had the silver lining of it all was I actually sat with myself for like 7 weeks after that show, didn't go to the gym. I ate what I wanted. I just kind of decompressed and decided to leave Bill, my coach that turned me pro. And, I've been with him for 3 years, maybe four pro shows. I've done with him. And it was a hard decision to make. It really was not easy because I thrive on being a loyal person to anybody in my life. Like I really try to be a good friend and, show up. And with him and I think like we just got to a point of, you know, this this is the only place that like this is as far as that he could take me. And I don't know, I just it was difficult. It was very difficult to have to like tell him that. And but I think the decision that I made, I like interviewed or like three coaches that I was thinking about going with, and I've always wanted to work with Shelby. I feel that because of Jill, who's really I'm really close to, has always swore about Shelby, and I know Jamie Pinder's gone to Shelby, and anyone around here I know has done really well with their fitness career that have gone to Shelby. So I decided to reach out to him, and I think I reached out about mid February and said I had thoughts about working with him, and he said, Jodi, he's like, you have a lot of potential. He's like, you just don't get lean enough. You need to be leaner. Believe me, like Ryan, I've been backstage with some of his clients and I'll just sit there and stare at them like, what are these girls? Like, they're all shredded, they're all in shape, there's not an ounce of fat on them, and they really come to compete, they come to play. So I said to him, like, I agree with you. Like, I just think I just need your guidance to get me there. Like I know that I can do better than what I've been doing. And he's like, all right, well, let me know when you're ready to go. I just have to get some ducks in a row. I got some things to like get out of my system before we start prep. And I reached out to him about March 3rd. And I said, okay, well, I'm just letting you know I'm going to hire you today. And I really don't want to start this diet till about April 5th. And he sends me a diet 2 days later.
Oh. Hey, at least that's where you got a winner though. But how have your workouts changed at all, or just your nutrition since you signed with Shelby?
Yeah. So I signed up with Shelby for 12 months, for a year. And he's like, Jodi, let's not pick a show. He's like, let's just see how your body works, like what's going on, like let's get to know each other. And so I got the diet and training. So he sent me like a whole new training regimen, which is great because it's all high rep stuff and volume stuff because I'm so used to like, my leg days being crazy heavy and, fatiguing and exhausting. And his major focus when he sends you training is like, do not get hurt. We do not want you hurt. Like that is just going to take you and set you back. So let's just, work with the weight. Like don't kill yourself. Like all these reps, they're going to do what they're supposed to do. So let's, build up to that. So that was fun, like a whole new journey I've gone on. And I do legs twice a week now with him. So with his training, I told him that, pretty much upper body has been on point. It's always been my focal point has been bigger legs. So we do a 2 day a week leg split. And to be honest, I kind of always just relied on my hamstring genetics. I'm very hamstring dominant. So, and I mean, that takes up most of my leg. It's always been my quads that I've had to bring up. And I would never quite hit them probably as hard as I should have. And with his training now, I hit my hamstrings twice a week and it's made a 1000% difference on what my leg um, looks like right now. So it's fun too. It's been like a nice breath of fresh air to do something different. I'm in the gym now, enjoying going there. Like I'm in a really good place. So
That's great too. And we've heard, yeah, going twice a week for a body part. Yeah, that's one thing that's really seemed to take it off. But I mean, your nutrition as well. I mean, that's something that is just. I mean, he sent you a program 2 days later after you told him that you wanted April 6th. So how has your nutrition changed?
drastically. So when I got the diet 2 days later, I said, all right, Joe, like I know you want to go to this baby shower and I know you want to have a couple more restaurants you want to hit, but to be honest, this is my goal year. I'll be 45 in 6 weeks. So I've always had it in my head that by 45, I would be on that Olympia stage or grab a title to go there. That has been my dream. So it's something that I really just sat with myself and said, just start the diet now. So I started, and the diet, he tried to give me a lot of carbs at first, and then it's been great because I'll check in with him every 4 days, and it was like every 4 days something was getting taken away. Something was getting taken away. This isn't working. This isn't working. This isn't working. And then we finally got to a place of no carbs for like 2 days in a row, and then on the third day it was only like really like 60 grams. So he pinched me to a point where I was like, well, we haven't even picked a show. Like, do you know what I mean? That mindset, like, he's changed my mindset like 1,000%, because now I know why these girls are all in shape when they show up to these shows, is because they're in shape before they pick a show, and I think I've always run the gauntlet, like with Bill, or I've picked a show, or I've always tried to run the whole thing where it's like, well, I want to do this. Like, how do we get there? You know what I mean? And I think he just tried to do the best he could with me. But like with Shelby now, it's like, oh no, we're going to do it this way. You know what I mean? Let's try this way. And he finally, after like working with him, unfortunately, my dad passed away. In the middle of like beginning of the prep, I think like 9 weeks in. So that was a little devastating. But to be honest, I was very thankful for the diet and the training and my mindset at this point, that I was like, my dad wouldn't want me to quit. So it helped keep me busy. It helped keep my mind off things when my dad was going through a crazy couple months before he passed. So um, I'm very thankful for that moment. So within, I think, kind of set me back, because he allowed me to, like when my dad passed away, like I said to him, like, listen, like, I hope you understand, like, I just want to spend like 3 days with my family, and I'm drinking my dad's favorite beer. And, like, and he did, he was so understanding about it, and got back on the diet like that following Monday. He showed me now how to like balance a healthier lifestyle with diet. Like before, after every show, I would get off and I would just put on 20 pounds, you know what I mean? Or 15 pounds and get out of shape. And it really took me like 14 weeks to get the brunt of that off. Like, I started with him at 153, and I think I weighed 133 like 14 weeks later, which was quick, but there's still the lingering glutes and hamstrings right now that are lingering, that are going to take a couple more weeks. But the process has definitely opened my eyes to a lifestyle now that I will continue on like after the show. So I'll be eager to see like how we rebound after the show too. So that'll be fun, because we got another 6 months after that to work together.
Well, the most important question I can think of is that you mentioned drinking your dad's favorite beer. What is your dad's favorite type of beer?
Well, guess.
Guinness.
What is? No, I know. You go right for the Irish beer.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
you never know. I used to be a Guinness fan myself, but then I grew out of it.
I love Guinness. But it's not Miller High Life.
Miller High Life. Oh, okay. Yeah. My dad is a Blue Moon kind of guy, so we always get him Blue Moons whenever he wants that. But we do have the I forget what it's called, but it's a Wisconsin beer that we get that's my favorite. But I forget what it's called. We still have some in the freezer or some in the fridge from like 2 years ago. So we just stocked up on it once the pandemic started, because we wanted to have enough through it. But that is just so awesome. And I mean, mentally, how have you been dealing with that though too? Because like you said, I mean, you were focused on your prep, which is nice and stuff. But I mean, I'm one of those people where if that happened to me, I don't have that willpower where I probably would have quit. So what is that extra drive that you think really just pushed you through all of that?
It's a higher power. It's something that I can't explain right now. Like, I felt like I've been in control before, that like I'm walking that path towards something I always felt like, but this is way different. Like, this feeling right now, like, I I don't know, the mindset that I have right now to get to that stage and to look my best that I've ever looked is very motivating to me, and it's something that I get up every day now, and it's like clockwork. Like, I don't think of it. I'm enjoying every day that I get up, and I get to get on that Peloton, or I get to go train. Like, the whole training regimen has got me really like perked up. So I don't know. I think it's I didn't want to fall into that depressional state of making excuses. I did ask for a few days. I asked for a week, and then we had him cremated. So 2 weeks later, we had a burial, and then I had a day off for that. So the support, being around my family, my friends. I have like amazing friends in my corner right now that have just pushed me and helped support me, um, like through this. So I just know that my dad wouldn't have wanted me to quit. Like that was my drive. Like to watch what he went through for 6 weeks, the strength that that guy had really kind of inspired me to be like, hey, dad, like, you know, showing me how strong you were is how strong I'm going to stay. There's no time. Just watching what he went through is something that, like, I will take that right to that day that I get on stage. So,
Yeah, I mean, that reminds me of when my grandma died. My mom went down to Omaha where they live to go visit with her. And literally, because they told her, she's like, she's probably not going to make it the next day. She had an abnormally strong heart, though. So she was down there for 2 weeks waiting for her to finally die. So it was just like, yeah, she just couldn't. Yeah, but that's just, yeah. I mean, just seeing what people go through, especially at the end, yeah, is just so inspiring.
our two
Yeah.
weeks, like my dad, when we decided that, it was time to take him off his tube and whatnot, he was 3 days. Like he was a strong, I mean, I thought he was a strong heart. I mean,
She
2 weeks.
she was she was Alzheimer's though, so it wasn't like failing. It was just like her mind was just so yeah, but like yeah, it got to a point where like she wasn't communicating or anything like that, but they're like, oh yeah, there's still a heartbeat and stuff like that. Like after they took her off and stuff. So yeah, it's yeah, I don't know what I mean, yeah, I was just so impressed by that too as well. But what has your relationship with cardio been like during this prep? Because you mentioned that his athletes do tend to get, and I agree with you as well that I've seen that they tend to just come in just peeled to the absolute bone, where it's just there's no ounce of fat on them. So what has your cardio been like on this prep as opposed to other preps?
So my cardio is it's somewhat similar, but not really. He's changed it up a little. So I do like 4 days of an hour of lifts, low intensity. And then the other 3 days, I do 15-minute, 20-minute, or 30-minute hit on those days. So with my schedule at work right now, I work Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays. On those days is where I do my hit because it's only 15 minutes or 20 minutes or a half hour, and then I can train on top of that on the days that I work. And then on the days that I don't work, I do the hour, which is a walk outside. It gives me a break from like the bike, or I do some stairs. So
You better not be walking outside in days like today.
I did. I walked outside this
Oh
morning.
god. Well, yeah. If you do it out in the morning, yeah, that's fine, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was still like 88. But he actually said to me last week, he's like, "Are you using your Vasso burn?" And I'm like, "Probably not as much as you want me to, because I believe that stuff does work. Like, but there is a process with that. Like, I mean, when you put that on, like you're committed for 3 hours, like of burning, tingling, a sensation, you know what I mean? Like redness, and it's a commitment." So I said to him back then, I go, "Did you, like a couple weeks ago, did you want me to start doing fasted cardio?" And he's like, "You know what? Why don't we start doing fasted cardio? That would be better." And, you know, I ended up getting the Vasso burnout. I keep it right on my bathroom counter now so that, like, right when I get up to go do fasted, it goes on. But I took a walk and I had these black, like, bike shorts that I put on. It was probably like 90 degrees. Took a walk, and on the way back, the sun was beating on my back, on my glutes, on my hamstrings the whole way back. I thought I was going to die for like a half an hour. I was like burning sensation or whatnot, but it works. I mean, it gets the job done. So yeah, the cardio, I've actually, because I have the Peloton too, so I've been really enjoying it. Like I'm I'm hoping we're close to him saying one day, like, drop the cardio, because like that'll give me some extra time to get my posing routine started and stuff. But who knows? Knowing me, I might be doing it up to the day of.
Well, just don't pull me. So I got into a fight with a really good friend of mine. This was like probably like 3 weeks ago. And I decided I'm just going to go out and walk until, I just walk it off. I left at 10 o'clock at night and I got home at 2:30 in the morning and I'd done 18 and a half miles walking. So
Wow,
yeah, my feet were just
really?
absolutely peeled. Yeah. I mean, my shin, or I mean my calf basically, or no, my heel, that's what I meant to say. My heel, like you could almost see the bone, like the skin had just like peeled through. But yeah, it was I have really weird feet where like I'm 6'3", but I'm like extremely narrow feet, which is kind of weird. So like I can't, it's just with me and walking any long distance. But I found a trick. If I double sock it, then I don't get any blisters or anything like that. So anyone out there, if you're looking for advice on that, that's what you do. But yeah, definitely don't overdo it like I did. But hey, I needed to that night. But
You almost did a full marathon.
oh yeah, I did a half marathon. That's why, and I texted one of my friends that does half marathons, and I said half marathons aren't shit. That's what I basically texted him then afterwards, and I showed him like my workout thing like that, and I was like, don't ever complain to me about a half workout of it. I was like, I was walking the next day and I was totally fine and everything like that. So, but yeah, and how, I mean, you got screwed kind of with work. They put you on what, Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays. They didn't give you any weekends.
No, I got so it's Sunday, I'm there all day, like 10:30 in the morning till 10 at night. Um, and Monday nights, Tuesday nights now, because of the summer, like where I am in the town that I'm in, most people have like summer homes and stuff. So the weekends become like the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. And then now, on Mondays, Tuesday, Wednesdays are the Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, because everyone goes out those days. So, and I work every other Saturday night. So I got Wednesday, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays off.
I was thinking that maybe your bosses might have like secretly hate you and be like, yeah, we'll give Jody all the shitty days. Yeah, we'll just give her that. And say, yeah, that's great.
They don't realize they all want the money shifts, they say, and they have no idea that the money shifts are Mondays,
I'm
Tuesdays.
not gonna lie, I have heard that Sundays and Mondays are for, and I mean any day during, now that this pandemic's gone down a little bit and people are starting to go up. Really, yeah, you think that any day would be a money shift now with just how many people want to go up. But how has your sleep been? Because I mean, especially during the pandemic, I remember last time we talked, I think you said that you'd been getting a lot more because you hadn't been working for a while then. But what has it been like now as you've adjusted to your new schedule and your new coach and your new prep?
So my sleep is great. It's great because I take a sleepy time CBD THC capsule before I go to bed, so that helps me sleep through the night. Um, Being hungry, and I found this new Bang that has CBD in it. That is a nice bubbly drink. That when I get up to pee, like during the night or something like that, I drink some of that, and then it puts me back to bed with like full bubble belly. So my sleep has been good. I mean, I'm not going to say that I don't have a night here or there that like I don't get that full 8 hours, but other than that, like I can't complain. Like I feel really rested right now. I don't even feel like I'm in prep, to be honest. Last Friday, last week, I actually, when I checked in with him, though, I said, listen, the past 3 days, I felt like that I was like on the struggle bus. And then he gave me a cheat meal just to kind of give me a reset. And then I felt great ever since that. So,
Yeah, I mean, and that's, yeah, the sleep is just the most impactful thing ever. And I'm honestly, after I'm done talking to you, I'm gonna look up because I've been thinking, like when I was doing my walk, my extremely long walk, I was thinking like, how did people back in the day walk everywhere and not get like absolutely cut up blisters and stuff? Because like reading histories on like Revolutionary War or Civil War where they were walking like 25 miles a day for like weeks on end and not getting any blisters or any soreness. I gotta look that up and see if there's anything that they did, because now that I think about it, I was like, how the hell did those people, manage to do all that? So that's something I'll get back to. That was just a tangent I was thinking in my head, but yeah, the sleep is just so important. And anyone, that's the number one piece of advice that really, I could give to you. But what has this all been like for you though, too, with the opening up? And has it been easier for you to say like than when we last talked to get your workouts in and everything, because of everything seemed to be more opened up? Because I mean, I think we had another, I mean, up in Minnesota at least, we had another lockdown, at least when right after we talked to you, we had it in January. What has that situation been like in Boston?
yeah, we had a little shutdown, like a 9:30 curfew in like November. And it we were full on busy, like, I mean, up until like that point, and then people got scared again, or people were getting sick that they weren't coming out. And then, to be honest, after Christmas or right before Christmas in January started rolling around, we started picking up again. Like, I'm very blessed to be where I am, at a restaurant that has great food, an amazing atmosphere. It's huge, it's ventilated. It's like I couldn't have asked to work for two better people. um, they're amazing. So I feel like the town needed. It used to be a wine bar, and they were changing it over to a tavern, like right before COVID hit, because the wine bar was electric and they needed to go to gas. So that was going to take a few months. And then COVID hit. So they had all this time. Now, my owner, Ryan, is architect and a real estate agent on top of owning this restaurant. So he was able to figure out like all those COVID, what the future was going to hold with COVID restrictions in restaurants, and he made sure everything was going to be up to par and open. And we're very busy now.
That is great, and I recommend everyone do get out because I'm not even gonna lie. I'm a part of that generation where my mental health has just went during this
Yeah.
whole quarantine. So yeah, just get out there, everyone, and get started really, really doing something because yeah, I mean, so what's the closing time for bars in Boston?
So, well, I'm outside of Boston. I'm 20 minutes north of Boston. So, I'm the one thing that COVID's definitely taught me, which is a very positive thing, is I will no longer work past 11 o'clock ever again. Um, I used to work till 1 o'clock in the morning. It's just too much. Like my owners, during the week we close at 9:30 Sunday, Mondays, and Tuesdays. And on the weekends or sorry, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, 9:30, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday we stay open till 11.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's not that late. I would have thought it would have been much later than that. Yeah.
No, like where Boston, I think still one and two, like two, but we're in one of those towns that like the sidewalks roll up at 9 o'clock.
Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, because that's what it is here. And then I've talked to people from New York where it's like, oh, they close it for like half an hour at like 6:30 in the morning, and then they're open back up again at like 7, or like in Florida too. So I've always found that fascinating how it's different here. But yeah, we only started like 3 weeks ago. I think was when they finally made it. We're like, oh yeah, the bars were staying open till 2 like they normally would. Anyway, otherwise, yeah, they were getting closed at like 11 or 12 as well. And that's at least, and plus, yeah, not having to work till 1 when I worked a warehouse job where I was working until then, yeah, that is an absolute benefit because once you work past about like 11:30, 12ish, you are just not asking for a good time really at all. Nope, it
No,
is it is a
nothing good
disaster.
happens after midnight, and I'm too old to be working in that kind of scene. You know what I mean? Like I'm just not with it anymore. Like, mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
So as you've gotten leaner and leaner as you're getting closer to your prep, have your interactions with people at the bar changed at all? Because obviously as they're seeing that as that you're getting more and more conditioned.
Oh yeah, like it's like, do you lift? Do you work out? And I just say no now.
You say, "Oh no, this is natural." This just came to me naturally. I woke up one morning and all of a sudden I just look like this. Just yeah. I used to say the same thing too to everyone. Yep.
It's definitely a conversation piece for sure, but I'm trying to make myself like, wear short like t-shirts. I don't wear tank tops to work, although there is someone that comes to work in a tank top. I'm like, I am so jealous. I would love to wear a tank top, but it would just cause too many issues for me. Like I have veins in my back. Like I'm not gonna be able to wear a tank top at work.
You just
So
make a stand that says like flex for $1. Like you'll take a photo of someone for a flex for like $1 or something like that. You'd make a ton of money. You become like the biggest thing. You got to do something like that. But no, yeah, I
today was funny. I went to the bank and some guy was like letting me go in, held the door for me, and he goes, "Oh, you CrossFit?" And I go, "No."
yeah, I like to not be injured. That's how you should just reply to him. Yeah.
But obviously I'm getting lean enough that he thinks that I look like I'm a CrossFitter, so I can't complain about it. So I just go, yeah, no, and just walked in. Like didn't even stop at this point to like talk about it anymore because people's perception, you're never gonna change their narrative. So
Mhm. And I watched the last two podcasts, the last couple of nights that I did with you, and one thing that I didn't really bring up to mention to you is that the physique division is changing drastically, just like everything really in bodybuilding is changing. Where it is, I mean, like if you were to compete 10 years ago, you'd be in women's bodybuilding with the look that you have right now, just because it has drastically changed so much. So where do you see the future of physique going? Because some people have it, it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger until it, all of a sudden has to like slow down. But where do you see it going as a competitor that's competed in it for so long?
well, this year I feel like they're finally picking like that structure that's me. I feel like they're picking like on a smaller side, like a smaller structure. Um, so there's I think a few girls have qualified right now. I think her name's Carly Topeka. I don't know how to really
I think I
pronounce
know
it.
who you're talking about. Yeah, but I don't. Yeah,
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 I mean she's got a really small frame. You know what I mean? And she gets gnarly dice. So they picked her, and then Tanya Shotterim, won last weekend at the Puerto Rico Pro. She's very small structure, but like big legs. And like I said, like I think right now like is my structure that they seem to be going for right now because I just feel like I've always been on like the smaller side of physique. but like I feel like it's worked to my advantage because it's been my journey and how I've gotten there is little by little by little, like, and I haven't blown myself out, um, which is good because like I just don't want to do something drastically to get to that stage and have like, I always wanted a longevity, like, and I think the little bits that I do on my off seasons, improvement seasons or whatever have brought me to this point now where I feel like I'm not going to feel like I'm dwarfed out there this year. So
And that's yeah, and I mean, yeah, it has, and we have heard from a guest, and I haven't published the podcast yet, but it'll be up in like a week or so. Of they were talking that they talked to a few people that know judges, and they say, yeah, that judges are starting to slim things down, especially for physique now this last year. So we'll see definitely how that goes. But yeah, I agree with you where I think it has gotten, and it's for the better too, because like I don't want to see people, have issues later on in life just because they compete in this sport, which is sad because I mean recently they just lost another female bodybuilder this last week, Melissa Coates, and then there was another one that died a few weeks before that, where it's just yeah, it's sad to see. So just to make it healthier too, but I ask this to you every single time, and I mean if someone were to walk up to you and say, hey, I want to get in shape now, especially now that the gyms have opened up again and now that COVID's starting to get less and less where people are more comfortable going out. What's the best piece of advice that you'd give for someone just to get started? Because I think with this special set of circumstances with COVID, where I mean, let's be honest, everyone put on a few pounds of COVID. I mean, I have my 10 pounds of COVID that I'm just slowly shedding off now. But what advice would you have for anyone who's looking to just get back into the shape of things after being dormant for as long as they were for COVID?
stop making excuses. Like everyone wants to make an excuse for why they're not doing something, but then they want to be something. Do you know what I mean? Or get healthy, but there's always so many obstacles in the way. It's like get out of your own way. Get out of your head. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to health and fitness. Like I just wouldn't want someone to get to a point of it being too late, and regretting that they had 20 years to get it together. You know what I mean? And even last night, some girl asked me, she's like, I train 6 days a week. I love the gym. I love to like lift as heavy as possible. Like, do you have any advice for me? And to be honest, I go like this. I go, it's food. I go, pre-workout and your post-workout meals are the most important. And she goes, what do you mean a post-workout meal? I'm like, you should be eating a half hour after your workout. And she's like, I never knew that. Like I never knew. It's like, yeah, like you just, built this muscle, you ripped this muscle, you tore it, you strained it, and then now you have to rebuild, like feed it. You want to grow, that's how you grow. And that was cool to be able to give someone like advice like that who didn't know, that like pre and post to like I go, it's a food game. It's a mental game, but it's a food game. Like the only way that you're gonna grow and build muscle is eating.
I mean, I've said a million times too. Yeah, this is not a sport or a lifestyle that you want to get into if you want to see results the very next day, because it's not going to happen. I mean, it's just unfortunately that is definitely not the case. But I mean, Jodi, if we were to talk to a year again, or I shouldn't say if, I was going to say when we talk to a year from today or sooner, like we did this time, where would you like to be at in your bodybuilding? Where would you like to be at just in your overall life? What are some goals that you'd like to have achieved when we talk to you next time?
So I would hope to have a qualification for the Olympia or to have gone to the Olympia. This year would be great. I'm heading into the Rising Phoenix September 11th. We chose a show. Shelby finally said that I could pick one. He was like, you can pick something 8 weeks out. And I said, well, 8 weeks right now is a little too soon for me. Like, I feel like I just want to make sure that I'm 100% ready. Not only that, I don't want the stress of a show right now. I feel like I'm enjoying the process in the summer. And, my dog has like a dental surgery that he needs and stuff. Like, I don't want to rush through and have the summer around here, which is, very short, just be gone because like I've kept my head down the whole time. So, that's the last qualifying show before the Olympia, but I'm not in a crazy world to know that like there'll be Olympians on that stage trying to get to the Olympia or girls that have been to the Olympia or trying to get that qualification too. So I feel like it's going to be a very competitive show.
So you mentioned dentist stuff with your dog. So we took our dog in, our little Cabachon, for just to get like a checkup on stuff or whatever. And next thing you know, we get a call saying, "Oh, we're gonna have to pull 9 of her teeth because of a genetic thing that they said." They said it wasn't anything that we did. They said it was a genetic thing where her teeth are just so weird. So yeah, she came back drugged out of her mind for like the next 2 days. But that's been
And
like
$1,000 later.
oh, much more. It was more than that. I think it was like 2 or 3 for us. But yeah, it was. Yeah, it was like yeah, that's great too. So that was like 5 months ago or something like that. But it's always interesting how that happens. But yeah, and so now our dog, sometimes the tongue sometimes sticks out of its mouth because it's missing a tooth right there. But yeah, it's just yeah.
they're known for bad teeth. So he's been like, he's going on 7, and my vet has like tried to talk me into doing it. And I'm like, I don't want to put him under. I don't want to put him under for what? Like, but like I've done a lot of research on it now that he can get like heart disease and if the gums have a disease. So I'm like, I finally just have to like do it. So
Yeah, that's what they're. I mean, our dog is only like what, like 4 years old, but yeah, they were telling us about that. So, yep. There's that. So, what is the future looking like for you as far as this prep? Does he have like a schedule for you of when you're gonna like do certain things, or because I know you said you check in like what every 4 days. So, does he have anything long term for you, or is it just every 4 days he's just gonna keep you updated?
yep, every 4 days right now. It's a check in every 4 days. I think till we get closer, it's going to be on the daily. So
That's great because if I were to look ahead of time and see that like I have to do like 2 hours or 2.5 hours of cardio a day, like for the last month, I am not going to be looking forward to that. So, yeah, that
this is the one thing I will say about his attentiveness is like no other. Like, I mean, I send him an email and I have something back within 5 minutes. I mean, he's like
Which
right
I
on.
which I don't understand because he has, like,
He,
almost
busy,
thousands of competitors that he trains,
he's
like,
busy.
I don't get how he's able to, because like, so many guests that I've had on, "Yeah, I'm training with Shelby Starnes," I was like, "How does this guy have enough time in the day to get everything straightened out?" I don't get. I mean, I wanna have him on just to be like, "I need to learn your business model so that I can be able to talk to, like, thousands of people at a time," because it's ridiculous how much he does in a day.
I'd tune into that. I'd be interested to know that too. Like he's got his hands, like he's juggling
The
everything.
thing is, I would feel so bad about taking up like an hour of his time though, because I'd be like, I know how busy you are. Like, I don't want to add that extra added stress onto you. So, yeah, and plus, like, if I were to have him talk on his phone, that thing would be ringing constantly, so he wouldn't even be able to have a podcast going really, because it would just be ringing nonstop. But yeah, and Jody, again, it is just so great to have you on and to talk to you about your journey and everything. And honestly, yeah, I wish you all the best in September 11th. Everyone, go and check that out if you're in the area, and go and check out her Instagram page down below. And is again, anyone that you want to give a shout out to before we wrap it up?
Yeah, like I just want to, thank Shelby. I want to, thank my friend Shari. My girlfriend Shari has just been a huge support for me through this prep and has been an amazing like person to lean on to keep me focused through this. So Shari, I love you. I couldn't do this without you. I'm very grateful to have your friendship in my life, and I just my family. Thank you for them for understanding. Why I do this. Like I'm just a bodybuilder trying to invest in herself, and just try to see like defy the odds against herself. And sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't. But I think they're starting to realize now that like this is something that I really love, and I want to do this for a long time. So
Yeah, that is awesome. And again, everyone go and check her out on Instagram. Leave a link to all of her stuff down below. And, like I always say, buyer beware. You will get inspired to, get in shape and stop eating those Twinkies. But again, Jody, I cannot thank you enough for coming on again. It's always a delight to talk to you. And I can't wait
um,
to talk to you again.
yeah, I love it.
All right.
Awesome to
Absolutely. And this is Ryan Johnson, DD on the spot, signing off. Have a great day, everyone.